explain some of the things you might want to do with your child over summer to help develop their reading. This video is for if your child is in reception and moving on into year 1. So first of all, we'd just like to say that we do want your child to have a break over summer, and the idea of this video is just to give you some ideas of just quick 10-minute activities that you could do with your child over the summer to help develop their reading. So it's nothing that we want them to be spending ages and ages on, it's just quick activities just to keep that reading going over summer. So if your child has been in school, then they will be sent home with a few books, and that can really be your starting point, is reading those books together. And in a minute I'll share with you some activities that you can do within those books. I thought it might be useful to share with you the colour order of the books in case over the summer you want to access some of the e-books on Oxford Owl. You know which colours you kind of want to be aiming for. So I'll just quickly now show you the colour order of the books that we have in school. So red is first, and then it's green, and then it's purple, pink, orange, yellow, blue and grey. Now these colours are for reception, year 1 and going into the start of year 2 as well. And the idea is that by the end of reception, your child should be aiming for these purple books. And within the purple books, what we're encouraging the children to do is to start doing a lot more Fred in their head. So that's the silent Fred talk. So they're not saying the sounds out loud anymore, they're saying them in the head and then they're saying the word. What I'll do now is I will quickly show you some activities within the book that you might like to do. So at the start of the book should be a quick checklist of things that you can do within the story. So it says 8 reading activities, and I'm just going to go through these 8 activities with you now, so you've just got a few ideas. So over on the next page we've got our speed sounds, and what we do in school is we would just get the child to say the sounds. So we've got f, f, o, and they could go through these sounds and say them to you. At the bottom we've got the vowels, and then here we've got the start of our set 2 sounds. So we've got A, E, I, O, U. And your child could just go through these sounds, and then what it might be quite nice to do is to also do them out of order. So you just point to random ones, because sometimes they'll learn the order of the sound, so they won't necessarily be looking at what the sound is. So it's helpful sometimes just to do them out of order to check that they are really secure with those sounds. So that's the first little thing that you can do. Over on the next page are the green words, and these are the words that they would Fred talk. It might be that the first time you do these you get them to Fred talk out loud, and then the second or maybe third time you get them having a go at doing Fred in their head with these. And then at the bottom are our red words. So these are the words that they can't Fred talk. So for example, if we look at me, E, you'll spot that this here makes the E sound, but they will be used to the E sound being a double S, so that's why this is a tricky word. And these are the words that they really just have to learn by sight. And so if they're unsure of any of these, it could just be a lot of repetition, you saying it first and then your child saying it. Over on the next page, you have a vocabulary check where you'll have a few words that maybe your child won't be familiar with, so it's sometimes good just to check they know the understanding of that word. And then over onto the next page, we've got the story introduction. So this is for you to read to your child, not for them to read. And this can be a useful activity because it exposes them to some of the language that's going to be in the story. So for example, it's talking about the fox and the red hen in this one. So if you've already said those words to them, then they'll know when they're reading it that they're looking out for those words. And then the first time they read it, they will just be reading it for accuracy. So they will just be reading through it, and it might be that they come across a few words that it takes them a little bit longer to read. So they'd read through it, and it might be that the first time you do the story, you might just focus on the start of the book. And it could even be that the first time you look at this book, you just do these 2 pages. And then on another day, you read through the story. And then at the back, after your child has read the book a few times, you might like to look at these questions to talk about. So there's some where they have to find the answer in the book, and then there's some where you can just discuss as you're reading it. And then finally, on the very last page are our speed words, and these are the words that you want your child to try and say as quickly as they can. And what we often do in school is they would pick either a row or a column, and they would do it with their partner, and they'd see how quickly they could say these words. And the quicker they are at these words, the better they are going to be with their fluency. So this page really helps develop their fluency. And what you could do is maybe practice these words a few times before they have a second read of the story. And then hopefully on that second or third read, they're going to be reading it with a greater fluency. And when we're talking about fluency, we mean that they're starting to add expression into their reading. So you might like to model how to add expression. So for example, here we've got help, help. So you might want to model help, help. And so when they're reading with fluency, they'll be adding that expression. They won't be hesitating as much before words, and they will just be reading with a greater pace. So those are some of the activities that you might like to do within the book. In reception, we cover both the set 1 and set 2 sounds. And so what you might like to do over the summer is just keep up that practice, and Read Writing have got a schedule that they're going to keep going over the summer holidays. So I'll just pause this here and just show you for a second these.